Greetings, Moonbats and other YouTubers. It is Saturday, July 20th here in Bumblebee Meadows up in the panhandle of Idaho. Probably 80, I'm going to guess around 80 miles from the Canadian border. Camped along-side the Little North Fork of the Coeur d'Alene River. Beautiful area. And because it's beautiful and it's close to Coeur d'Alene, it's only about 40 minutes from Coeur d'Alene. So the campground is really full on weekends. Typically on Sunday starts emptying out, and there's maybe a couple of campers like on Monday during the weekday, but during the weekends it really gets full. People start coming in around Wednesday, Thursday. They'll drop off stuff, a tent, table, ice chest stuff. Sometimes they'll leave their rigs here and then leave and then come back on Friday evening, Saturday morning and start camping, and it's no exception this week. It is really full. So Larry he left yesterday morning, pretty early in the morning. I didn't even hear him leave, so I'm up here by myself, except for neighbors that I don't know, and you know how I am. I'm not very friendly, so I stay sequestered in my little trailer here, not making any new friends. Right. So it's gonna be warm today, about 80. It's gonna be 90 tomorrow, so the weather's really good. But what I wanted to talk to you about was trash. Last year there were bins down at what Rachel and I were calling the data center. It's basically a crossroads, Coeur d'Alene River Road, and I think it's 209. I forget the name of it. Anyway, it's right where the Little North Fork intersects with the North Fork of the Coeur d'Alene. And there were always very large trash bins there. Like the truck bed, or semi-sized sort of bins. And last year there were 2 of them, and they filled up really quickly. I mean, it's not just campers using them, but people that live up in this area, they use those bins to to get rid of their trash and stuff. This year they're not there, so it's been kind of inconvenient to get rid of trash. I've also noticed that the Forestry Service was up here putting up signs about no vehicles. What's been happening, because it's such a crowded campground. People will come here and they'll park in places where they're really not supposed to be parked and camp there. And so the Forestry Service has put up signs to tell people, this is not an official campsite. There's a little blue diamond with a P in the middle of it that kind of designates where those areas are. And when it gets crowded like this, people just tend to ignore it and they can just camp wherever they want. So, the problem is it's kind of this self-fulfilling loop. It's the Forestry Service is getting irritated by all of the misuse of the land, the trash that's getting left, the fact that the dumpsters fill up so quickly, so they get rid of the dumpsters, so people start leaving trash, so they start coming in to close up camp areas. And I don't know if that's really the dynamics that are happening, but it makes sense in my mind when I look at it. So when somebody abuses the privileges that we have here to camp, then they get very restrictive about it. What they really need to do is go the other way. We need more campgrounds, more campsites. There's plenty of room in this meadow. I get the idea of conservation and all of those things. I mean, I love this place. It's beautiful. And it would break my heart to ruin it just because of misuse or overuse. But we're talking about, one meadow along a stretch of river that goes for miles and miles and miles. And as Coeur d'Alene grows, which it has been, because it's a beautiful place, it's a popular place, it's one of the fastest growing communities in America. So more people are coming up here requiring, and they're the kinds of people that like to camp, so it's requiring more camping. There's more people that are not following the rules and abusing the area, so the Forestry Service is closing it, making the problem worse, in my humble opinion. So something, and I don't have a solution. I don't know what that means. I think we need to open up more camp areas. That's the best solution I can come up with. And then the other thing that needs to happen is that they don't patrol on the weekends. The weekends is when it really gets crowded and people start abusing the rules. And there's nobody that patrols on the weekends. They come down during the weekdays when there's nobody here. There's no reinforcement, I guess, of the rules. There's nobody here saying, hey, look, you can't camp there. You got to move or I'm going to give you a ticket. So I think we need more camp spaces, and I think we need folks that will patrol on the weekends, because that's when the problems occur. That's when the campgrounds fill up and people are most likely to ignore the rules and in order to find a place to camp. And then there's the few that, you know, that leave trash. And then there's also a few that will stay for months on end. There's a group down at this end over here that's been here for more than 14 days, I'm sure. I don't know how long they've been here, but they were here when Larry started camping, and he started probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they're still here. And I think they kind of rotate in and out. That's how they get around it. But, you know, they're taking up a campsite, which I also think is abusive, but I don't know how you could fix that. So I guess I do have a solution. More campsites and more patrols, just to kind of keep an eye on things on the weekends when it really matters. So, well, cloud cover's covering the sun. My solar's been kind of a challenge. The sun has been good, but there's clouds that go in front of it, and I've been watching, you know, my voltage, and the cloud goes away and my voltage spikes, and then cloud cover comes and it drops, and I'm going down into charge and back up into absorption and back down into charge, back up into absorption, into float, back into... So I don't know how that plays for battery longevity. If anybody knows something about these dynamics, I mean, should I not be charging my batteries on cloudy days? Or days where the clouds are moving over the sun and you've got that up and down of brightness. Batteries seem to be doing good. I've been on the road for more than a year, and if I get good sun, I'll usually close the day. My charger will go off. I'm at 13.2, 13.1, 13.0, somewhere in that range. And I'll stay there, and I can run my refrigerator all night long and freeze water. In fact, I froze some yogurt. It was almost like ice cream. I had frozen yogurt. It was good. And I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be at 12.3, sometimes 12.2. I can unplug the refrigerator and I gain 1/10 of a volt. So I'm usually never below 12.3 or 12.4. And that's with running my fan, charging my phone, charging my laptop, running my ice chest. So I'm using my solar a lot. And I never plug in. I have never plugged in. In fact, I don't even have a way to plug in. There's no shore power connection to this rig. So any electricity I use comes from the sun. It's free, clean. But I do worry about, you know, this passing of clouds, and if that has a detrimental effect on my on my batteries, and whether or not I have a Blue Sky 3000i charge controller, if it's smart enough to mitigate any issues that might be occurring because of undulating light. There's a little bit of a delay, it looks like, sometimes when the light comes, and I'll spike at voltage and then drop down again. I have a thermocouple attached to the battery, so the 3000i knows what temperature my batteries are. And I noticed that it changes. So during the charge cycle, I can get up as high as 15 volts when it's really cold. So I'm thinking that the charger is smart enough to understand some natural dynamics that occur as a result of temperature and you know, up and down kind of light scenarios. So I'm hoping that that's the case with this charger, and it's smart enough not to allow that up and down light to ruin my batteries. New rig's working great. Here, let me spin the camera a little bit. There she is, Tally-Ho. I think that name is stuck. I kind of came, you know, out of the chute with Tally-Ho because of Tahoe. You know, I'm a cute kind of guy. So I think that's what I'm going to run with. Tally-Ho and Discovery is my trailer. So no photographs. I didn't take any new pictures. You know, I've kind of photographed flowers, showing you the river and all that stuff. Look back a couple of videos if you want to see that stuff, or visit the Flickr site. There's some pictures of flowers and stuff there too. But anyway, so that's the update, guys. Love you. See you later.